Hello, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be talking about this visualizer that I created using PD and Gem. So essentially what I've got here is a lot of rectangles used in different ways in order to create this image of almost like going through a tunnel, passing by these different colored walls as we approach some far off destination. And kind of breaking it down, we can start to remove a few of the elements, like these extra lines here, and these corner lines, and then these extra white lines around here. So getting rid of all of those white lines, we start to get an idea of how this visualizer actually works. And you can see it's essentially just a series of rectangles that are getting larger. So let's talk about how I made that happen. If we look at these metronomes here and here, you'll notice that this metronome is sending a bang every 2 seconds, leading into this line, and then we have it piped into this line with a delay of 1,000 milliseconds, so half the time of the metronome. So this first metronome, it's essentially controlling the purple square rectangle, and what it's telling it to do is to return to a size of 0.33 and then increase to a size of 3 by 3 over the course of 2 seconds. And that command is going into the line, which is then making that happen. As you can see, we've got the input going from 0.33 up to 3, and as soon as it reaches 3, since we have it on the same time delay as the metronome, it returns back to 0.33. And I have some other stuff going on here that is helping to smooth out the animation. And if we didn't have that, then we would be left with something more like this. So now we can see just the two rectangles, and you'll notice that the effect looks all right with the purple in the back, but when the blue overtakes it, it's blocked out because the blue is further ahead in the animation than the purple. This is one of the reasons for this bottom section here, and you'll also notice every time the rectangles reset, there's this blank black space right here that interrupts the animation and makes it very obvious what is actually going on. And so in order to cover that up, I've essentially got this additional metronome here toggling a purple and a blue background to pop up whenever that square reaches a certain point, so that it stays filled even after the moving rectangles reset. And in order to solve the problem of the overlapping, I've got this metronome and the pipe toggling these secondary rectangles as well. And it may not look very clean right now, but once we start adding in these extra layers, hold on, I think I put those in the wrong spot. Or did I? So now we're getting that outer border filled, but we're still having the problem with the overlapping. So let's see if I can get this timing just right. There it is. And as you can see now, the rectangles are in fact overlapping at exactly where they need to give the illusion that it's a series of ever expanding rectangles. Now let's see what happens when we add the rest of the elements in. We have these two squares, these two white squares acting as borders, and then we have this metronome sending a bang to this element here that I'm going to make sure to activate real quick. And this bang going off of the pipe to make it alternate colors whenever the next colored rectangle comes out of the center, so that it's always the opposite color to what's surrounding it. And then this is where we start adding some more elements to kind of enhance the illusion of the visualizer. So first I added these diagonal lines going through the corners to kind of give the illusion of depth, and then expanded that using more lines, and that kind of creates this sense of there being a roof, a floor, and walls that you're traveling along. And then I have two additional pipes that are feeding into new rectangles. Those are both activated by this toggle to add an extra set of these white lines traveling down the hallway, so that it feels a bit more compact and there isn't all this open space, and it kind of helps to tie it all together just a bit more. And the way that these white lines work, because you'll notice they aren't rectangles exactly. They are the rectangle object, but I'm using this draw line message to make the rectangle into an unfilled rectangle. So if I instead told it to draw fill, you would get this, and it would cover the full screen. But instead, I'm telling it to be a line, and that allows us to achieve this illusion effect that we're going for. We can also mess around with the colors of all of the objects. I don't have it set up to at right this moment, but if we, for example, wanted a different RGB value let's say for all of the blue, objects. This is going to get a little bit messy, but I can drag this message to wherever I have my blue objects, which is here, here, and here, and here. And we'll have to make sure that we delete that and bring this toggle up here. Now we have purple and yellow rather than purple and blue. And we can change that again if we want 0.2, 0.2, 0.4. Now we have this like dark blue sort of thing. And we can continue messing with these. And I'm changing the blue simply because I've used the color object for those, whereas with the purple I used color RGB, which doesn't accept a single message as a command. I would have to set up individual number inputs for each value. So it's just a lot easier to mess around with the blue. But if we wanted maybe like more subtle purple, I think this should, yeah. So now we have purple and a pink. Or we could do something like this, where we'll end up with a darker purple. And we can mess around with this and achieve a lot of cool effects using colors. And we can also adjust the timing of everything to speed up or slow down the visualizer. But again, that would require going in and manually changing all of the delay times for the metronomes, the pipes, and these messages that are controlling the line outputs. And I think that about covers it for everything that I did with this visualizer. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you thought this was cool and gives a little perspective on what you can create using just simple shapes in pure data and gem. And I'll see you all in class.